Um, yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Good morning. My name is Ilze Briede. My artist alias is Kavi, and I am a third-year PhD student in digital media at York University, Toronto, Canada. My paper's title is When Hearts Speak, and it investigates research on biosensing user interface design strategies, as well as empirical research approaches in human-computer interaction. This research document also offers a unique angle on the creative and technical processes of creating a bio-art installation and virtual sculpture called Somatic Interventions, developed as a group assignment for a Vertical Studio Lab course taught by Professor Mark David Hossel at York University. It's my pleasure to be here today. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of the Extended Senses Symposium team for organizing this incredible event and welcoming me to take part. Co-chair and Professor Camille Baker for support and providing invaluable feedback on my paper, and Lucy Bonnell for being such a great communicator. I would like to say thanks to my supervisor and professor at York University, Mark David Hossel. He is very much responsible for me submitting my first paper for publication and encouraging me throughout my years at PhD program. Artist and biomedical designer Alan Macy is also a great inspiration to me, working with biosensing and showing possibilities converting biodata in livable and artistic experiences. I am indebted to my team, without whom this paper would not be as thorough and deep. Risa Valenti, Kiran, and Nick have been fantastic collaborators and creators of the virtual sculpture, Somatic Interventions, that I will be mentioning in my future slides. Before diving deeper into discussing the research paper, I would like to say a couple of words about my art practice. I'm a creature of both worlds, physical material as well as digital virtual. As a maker of things, I'm extremely interested in constraints and specificity of different materials and forms that can provide as a result from human and material collaborations. Digital tools and code are equally exciting collaborators when it comes to weave a complex yet beautifully responsive canvases that respond to live data or audio compositions. My works evolve always as collaborations amongst human and non-human participants that has been the driving force in my artistic and academic journey. To me, data expresses itself in many forms. It could be a notation system for music instruments, a pattern that encodes cultural and spiritual meanings, or a waveform that is drawn by the activity of one's heart. They all carry on meanings and messages for us to decode, encode, and transcode into further narratives and new novel meanings. I will play a short video that is an attempt to create a pattern language spoken by biodata. There is also a sound component to it, and I would like to invite us to all listen to that. Somatic Interventions virtual sculpture has been an outcome of 4 months of deep investigations into information and cybernetic systems, artificial chemistries, and generative algorithmic forms, data sending and receiving protocols, and biophysiological sensing and instruments for gathering and distributing data. The bigger questions that I was compelled to investigate in my paper was about very nature of biodata and how much of its original pattern we can preserve through continuous downsampling and editing it via collection and interpretation tools. If we would take this data that is produced by our physiological cells, extracted and collected, what type of new body can we offer this data to inhabit and live in? What sort of expressions can we design that are organically responding to the nature and behavior of this data as flowing numbers? And if we are being faced with this new alien form that interprets but also communicates something that is very much part of our hidden selves, how can we start to forge the first seeds of comprehension, understanding, and perception that brings us to some cumulative results and new insights? These questions were the bone and muscle to help my investigation and supported curiosity and artistic explorations in search for the answers. In this next slide, I'm going to show you Nick created this pre-recorded session of our virtual sculpture, and it's also you can preview it on the website, and the web link is mentioned in my paper. The somatic interventions virtual sculpture gathers data through sensing interfaces housed in long and extended tubes. It also produces internal chemistry based on artificial life algorithm. In the active participation, the biological and artificial chemistries blend through complex internal state machines and behavioral modules. What we see as a projection of color and texture patterns, and hear as sound is a mutual conversation between humans and non-humans. The expected outcome of this newly designed interface and data display is an encounter, an embodied and co-constructed experience. It is a complete fusion and extended body interaction that could not be intellectually preconceived and is directly embedded in human perception and bodily functions, making the artwork and participation in one. The form has to become another container that transcends these signals into their new dwelling place and blends computational, artificial, biological into brand new ecosystem. Talking about the instruments and data processing applications, there is a lot of mediums in between the source and end form in biodata traveling path. Buckminster Fuller, in his book Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth, talks about Heisenberg's principle of indeterminism, where, open quote, the act of measuring always alters that which was being measured, turns experience into continuous and ever repeatable evolutionary scenario, end quote. In my practice as an artist that works with live data, it has always been a pleasure to participate in crafting stage that carries the process along and between different stations. In this case, the process starts with someone placing their hands on metal balls. The cold metal surface is a sensor that sends electric pulses to processing station, where data is split and treated into identifiable data chunks. That is later transported to visualization software and gets finally drawn and expressed through visuals and colors. This is a data traveling map with corresponding stops and names of the stations. Some paths carry data in its physical form, and some convert it into binary messages that are delivered by wireless networks and data ports. The data eventually trickles into interactive table visualizations that are projected onto the surface for everyone to see and enjoy. The data translation itself is a living system and an independent agency in its own right that exhibits behavioral stages through different modules. These modules are interlinked with biodata on deep levels at the time of their construction that are able to express emergent behavior while parsing data from one module to the other in a linear time-based morphology. The textures that consist of lines and noise grains carry potentials and embodiments of their own. However, the data becomes their expressive and conscious narrative that is directly communicated to the originators of biodata itself. Participants become interlocked into theirs and other biofeedback loops, as well as participating in conversations with non-human forms such as artificial life and algorithms. This is another map, but of a different kind. It shows how close or how far we can be from one another. The circular pattern that is split in 4 equal parts shows the breathing, the inhale and exhale of 4 different human bodies. It also can navigate us towards synchronicity and equanimity. It could also potentially teach us empathy and connectivity that is achieved by purely presence, devoid of social, ethnic, or cultural immediacies. A single breath that is shared is a beautiful moment and a thought, something that somatic interventions virtual sculpture is designed to facilitate and express visually. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow.